Hey everybody, it's Alexia from amysticspath, back with another weekly energy video for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Now, I would like to talk about the week ahead and the energy of this and how we need to work with it for our best benefit. But before I get started with that, I would like to talk about the new moon that we have in the sign of Taurus. This is happening Wednesday the 22nd this week, which is 2 days from me filming this now, when we are looking at the sign of Taurus and the energy of this, we are looking at an earth sign that is very grounded and dependable. But as much as that it is grounded and dependable, it is also stubborn and passive. So we want to make sure that we are not getting sucked away and being firmly in our place as far as what we are compromising in our social life. Okay, and when we're in our interactions with other people, because this energy is serving a purpose, but it may put some rigidness or some tension into your relationships because of the fact that it can be such a stubborn energy and quite an immovable force. Now, I also want to say, before I dive into the energy of this week, is to make sure kind of what it is that you are spending your money on, because the energy of Taurus really likes luxury things. It's not about quantity, it's about quality, and there is a heightened chance that you will kind of splurge for something that you may have been wanting, and it might just be like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna get it anyways, type of thing that is like a luxury item or more money than you would normally spend. So make sure that you can at least afford it before you kind of go on an impulse buy and buying things that are more expensive and more like on a luxurious level, okay? And to get into the cards and the energy that I'm feeling for this week. Now, I'm feeling like this week we're going to receive clarity, and this clarity is our placement in life and how we stand within that power and how we are almost reconstructing and reconfiguring what it is that we are going to allow and what it is that we aren't going to allow in our lives, okay? And that was that stubborn and not passive, but although Taurus is passive, but that stubborn, like unmovable, rigid energy that I was talking about. It's working for a purpose, but we have to make sure that we are directing it correctly, okay? So and I see this as, again, bringing in clarity to what it is that we will accept and what it is that we won't accept, and our power within that, and kind of taking back that. But it's not taking back our power in a sense of how I've been talking about it before, but more so really like a reevaluation of what it is that you deserve, in a sense, going along in the lines of what it is that you will allow, what it is that you won't allow, what it is that, and even if it's something that you've been allowing for so long, like it's coming to the point where some things will be acceptable, or some things will be unacceptable, and other things that may not have been acceptable before may be acceptable. It's all like, I feel like there's going to be a lot of perception shifts, and if it wasn't shifts, I kind of feel like it's the ulterior end of being passive, like that the things that are bothering us may kind of come up, and if not, there's light shed on them. Okay, now how is this energy going to affect us the most in the physical? And we have the 5 of Wands, as well as the 8 of Pentacles. And I see this as a lot of us really focusing on things coming together in the physical and really working hard on that. So this, like, whatever it may be, a project, it might be something that you're working on. It literally could be something as far as in terms of communication, or like putting things together in your resume, or whatever it is. It's not necessarily, and I always want to stress, it's not necessarily a project or this big, large, grand scale, but I see you as working on things coming together in your reality, within your situation, and really working hard at that, and really putting the pieces together and making things maybe not perfect, but more solid and more constructed, almost that you're like tweaking the foundation of things in the physical to try to get them to come together a little bit better and be a little bit more sturdier. Okay, and this is in lines of healing, things that you want to bring in, the quality of any projects that you're working on, relationships too. It's not just one thing or the other. This is kind of across, across the board, since it is such a generalized reading. This could be any or all of these things, okay? So when we are looking at how this energy will affect us mentally, we have the Strength card, as well as Justice. And this just heightens into even more of the energy that I was feeling of reconfiguring things. We see here is that you kind of feel like mentally you're in a place of strength, maybe even more so than you have before, and you are looking at things again, reevaluating them, weighing your pros and cons. What is it that you're going to keep? What is it that you're going to discard and let go that you're not going to keep? What is right for you and what is not? Okay, and that's kind of what it is that you will be reviewing, but it's not in a place that's coming from almost like a wounded place or anything like that. Again, it's from a place where you are really connected into your power, and it's like enough is enough and things have to change because there's certain things that are in my environment that need to change that I no longer want to be a part of. Now, when we look at how this energy is going to affect us emotionally, we have the King of Swords, Judgment, and the Nine of Wands. And with this, we can see that although it is on an emotional level, it's still stemming from the mental. Okay, so this is, our emotions stemming from our thoughts, which always coincide anyways. But we can see here how like you're feeling that you are being pulled, like emotionally you feel like you're being pulled or you're being guided to just kind of push through and pull through, that almost that you're like at the end of this cycle. And although it may not be toxic, for some of you it may be, but there's just some like not even hurdles, there's just like this little spot that you have to run through before you reach the finish line of what it is that you're trying to do. And it often, and I'm really getting the message that it often gets messy right before it gets good, right before it gets really good. So hang in there and hang tight, because you might feel like you're trudging through mud right now, but you literally just have to make it like out of this window that you're trying to get to climb through, to make it onto the other side. So you're almost out of this, like this space. And it's not even like the end of a cycle. I feel like a new cycle has already started. It's just like wrapping things up, or just like, and not even, it's not even wrapping things up. It's almost like blockages or like hurdles to make sure that you are out of the cycle and you're ready to be in a new one. So you basically just have to kind of push through, keep going and keep pushing through to get through to the other side, to get out of this little window, to be able to, and it's not even essentially, proving it to the universe, but proving it to yourself that you are in a new cycle, that you're not falling into bad habits that are destructive and or harmful to your growth and your behavior. Okay. Now, how we're supposed to be working with this energy, we have the Three of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. Now, with this, I'm seeing that to continue the work that you're doing in the physical. So again, if you're working on a project, if you're working on healing, if you're working on relationships, if you're working on communication, whatever it is that you are working on personally, or whatever it is that you have the desire to change, that you continue to work on this and you continue to construct it on and like an authentic level of how it is that you actually want it to look. And again, not taking any shortcuts, because the wheel is changing. So, and by wheel, of course, I'm talking of the Wheel of Fortune. the wheel is changing. The energy is going to shift. So you want to continue to shape and mold what it is that you are bringing into or changing within the physical, so you can get it closer to that vision that you ultimately want to create, because things are shifting and they are changing. So for some of us, this might be a peak or a pit of acceleration. So you want to kind of move with the acceleration. Okay, so if you are a person that is reaching an accelerated point, things might start to seem like they're moving really fast when we feel this energy shift. So you're going to have to kind of like take a deep breath and kind of like jump in, because if not, you're going to be too hesitant and kind of get buffered back energetically. So you kind of want to, it's almost like you don't want to miss the train car moving when the energy shifts. You don't want to be kind of like on the back burner and have to wait for the energy to shift again because you didn't shift with the energy, if that's making sense. So continue to work on what it is that you're working on, and almost like, it's not like shuttle mode, but it's like you're making sure that you're focused on what it is that you want to build up, that you really want to turn out well on a structured foundation, so you can reach that peak of like move with that accelerated point, so things can accelerate for you and start to unfold at an accelerated rate. I feel like things are going to start to pick up for a lot of us. Now, the conclusion cards that we get is the Moon, of course, and the Five of Cups. And I feel like this is to very much pay attention to the fact that we are about to be under the energy of a new moon. Granted, it is not a full moon, but the moon nonetheless will always rule our desires and our emotions. And what I'm really feeling within this is to make sure that we are paying attention to how we're feeling, and realizing that the moon does really have a big part to deal with our emotions. And we are at the point of a new moon this week that is really trying to shift and change things and change our perspectives in a lot of ways. So we may see frustration caused by this moon coming down. So please know and be mindful of that. If you're a little bit more agitated or a little bit more frustrated with how things are going, or frustrated with change, or whatever the case may be, or maybe you're not communicating well or compromising well, and you're kind of like, really stuck in your own space. Really be mindful that this is the energy of the moon that you are feeling. Be mindful of this, and instead of letting it transmute into dissatisfaction and irritation, and use it in the ways that this energy is trying to work for you. And ultimately, the energy of this week and this Taurus new moon is to build things up in luxury. Taurus is such a stubborn energy because of the fact that they like things the way that they are. So this is a great peak and a great time, a great week to really see what it is that you like and what it is that you want, and work towards that. And a lot of that is having and continuing to change. It's just heightening the energies again of this harmony that we're going after, this harmony in our lives that we're going after. Except when I was talking last week, it was more of on an emotional level. This is more in a physical level, because of the fact that Taurus wants luxury in the physical, because it is an earth sign that is grounded in the physical, okay? And with Taurus being so stubborn, that is because it is immovable, because what Taurus ultimately builds is immovable, okay? And that is why we will have such great dissatisfaction. So again, please make sure you are using it properly. Okay, now I pulled a supporting message again, and the cards that I got are the Earth, Oshala, aka Abotala, Five of Water, and Messages from Water. And this is too speaking of your stubbornness, okay? And the way that you almost want to keep things the way that they are, or the way that you want them in a sense. And this message is basically telling us to, one, be grounded. and very, I don't want to say like very, very grounded because of this, like the stubborn energy that we can kind of fall into, but the energy of being grounded to the point where you are present, and you're not getting caught up in, again, your own stuff, and that you are really just trying to push forward with pure intent to literally just move forward for growth and development, that there's not any ego or other issues that are kind of getting in the way that would block you, because if that is the case, then you're likely to be swallowed by your emotions. Okay, and instead of being able to push through and go for growth and development, you kind of get sucked in this, like you can the energy has the potential for you to get sucked down and kind of drowned within your emotions. And I really just have the energy of either like growth, or when you water a plant too much and the roots get too much moisture and then it begins to rot, and you can't see this. And this is how it's going to happen. This is why the message is coming through like this, because when you overwater a plant and the roots begin to rot and it starts to rot, you don't see it at first. It starts from the roots and goes up. And that's how it starts with your emotions. It starts from the inside and goes out. You will often be too far gone or drowning within. Nobody else is seeing this. And then it's by the time that anybody else can see this, the outer effects of the inner drowning, there is so much damage control that has to be done to bring this plant back to health, and it has to be dried out for a consecutive number of days if it's not too late in general, if you didn't ruin the plant altogether. And this plant that I'm speaking of is your emotional health. Okay, so we're making sure that we are moving through our emotions at this time, and we're moving through the things that we need to talk about. We're moving through our stubbornness. We're moving through all of these different things in a place that you are present. So you're not getting swallowed by your emotions, and you're not also at the same time you're moving forward. You're not ignoring and being stubborn and passive. Okay. And getting swallowed by your emotions. And really take heed of this message for this week, as much as you might want to be stuck in your own ways or your old tendencies, because I feel like this energy will have can really highlight a lot of our old our own inner stubborn tendencies, whatever that looks like for you specifically. Now, I hope that this message has helped everybody, and if you need a reading specifically for yourself, please do not hesitate to contact me.